we have had this far. So it's a privilege to welcome you all to this panel. We have leaders from three powerhouse organizations: Vedanta Limited, a large scale corporate working in the mining, metal, oil, and gas sector; Mr. Akash K. Hebbar, President, Vedanta Limited. Please welcome him. We have We have Volvo Cars India, a brand synonymous with safety, sustainability, and great design. Volvo has been redefining premium mobility in India. So please welcome Mr. Jyoti Malhotra, Managing Director, Volvo Cars India. What follows next is a brand representing cutting edge consumer technology. We have Mr. Nipun Maria, CEO, IQ Phones, a brand that rapidly gaining ground in smartphones and gaming innovation. So, this panel is all about these great minds leading business excellence. So, please allow me to begin. I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. So, Akash, I'll begin with you. So, you are part of a legacy company of this large scale. So, how would you encapsulate your journey in the company and your top three memories as a leader?
Well, I think it's quite a personal story and a little ironic because I never thought I'll see myself in the metals mining industry. I was always in technologies. I was a consultant. I was working with technology companies, and this is also our chairman is he was very he's a very big visionary. He in the first generation has made in 30 years that most companies like this, like Rio Tinto, took 150 years to make. So he really gave me an opportunity to come into this company from a technology mindset. So I am now in charge of a manufacturing asset in Taiwan and Korea that makes glass LCD substrates, which is your input for your semiconductors, display glass. But also I run VSpark Deep Tech Ventures, which is our venture capitalist arm, but I would say more in terms of venture clienting, right? This company takes deep tech startups in India and enables them to have a platform to test, codify, and also scale their operations with us. And that is exactly what excites me. I think that is how I got into mining because we are no longer just a mining conglomerate. We are a technology company first. And that change comes from all the way from the top, from our chairman to our grassroots, direct and indirect employees who believe that putting every step in front of their way, taking that entrepreneurship risk, building technology along with game changer startups, MSMEs is the way forward in manufacturing. It increases safety, it increases governance, it increases volume, cost, asset optimization, everything. So my personal journey has been nothing short of exciting, and I'm sure there's a lot more exciting things to come.
And what's your fondest memory in this journey as a leader?
My fondest memory, actually, my fondest memory, it's always two steps away from when you're actually at the assets, right? When you're in the mines, when you're in the community, you're always two steps away. So when I first went to Barmer, where we do our oil and gas operations, I went into the community. Oil and gas has such a big stigma attached to it, right? But we actually have found a way in technology to make this even less intrusive, it actually has environmental positivity rather than anything else, and has made the community buildings. We have built water wells which are closer to the community. We have built new infrastructure for people to get work at. We have changed the face with we're using technology, and that I think was my fondest moment when I went in there, sat with the people, and they're saying that now we have a mobile network, now we have a theater over there, now we have much more greenery, much more in a place, in a deserted place like Barmer, they have much more water to be sourced from and much more electricity to run their gadgets with. So that was very interesting. That was my fondest memory.
Great to know. So, Jyoti, it's been 9 years that you are with Volvo Cars India. So, when you joined and to completing these 9 years, I think in the past 4 years, you're also working as an MD there. So, if you can recall your first day at work and how this journey has been from the time when you started with Volvo and being the top boss.
So first of all, I would like to thank Entrepreneur for calling me here. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. If I okay, going back to my joining at Volvo, see, I was working with Mahindra before this, and I worked with Maruti before that. They were like big conglomerates, and coming into Volvo, where I think we are a much in terms of scale or volumes, we are not a volume player, we are a premium player. So I remember when I first came in general, I think there was a lot of people, my peers and other companies were sort of saying, okay, why are you going into such a small company? My thought, even on that day, I remember my first day, and that's a culture we have. That first day, we do a sort of a town hall where we come and talk to all the people. And in deep inside my mind, even at that point, my biggest I think attraction was that this is more like a startup, right? I think those days startup things were being just talked about, that I can come and make a difference, right? And I think that is something which was very exciting for me. It is, you can come and make a change, bring a change in a larger organization. Sometimes you are just one of the elements of the organization, but when in a company where you can really make a difference, it can make a matter. It can really become very exciting. So that is what I very fondly remember, and I said that during the first town hall that I attended. From that day, I think a lot has happened since then. And I think, as you said, I think I got elevated as a managing director. That time I joined as a director, sales and marketing, and then I moved into this role. And I think in between we had COVID, and I think after COVID, I think there's a lot of changes which have happened. So there's a lot which have happened. I think when I first came, and I think the biggest change I think we were able to bring about as a team was that till 2017 we were only importing cars, and I think there was a huge duty. Now there's a lot of talk about tariffs and all. We were bringing cars at 70, 100% duties, and I think it was not the right value for the customer. We were doing like much lesser volume. We were able to finally convince our headquarters that okay, we need to start assembling cars in India. We were able to bring a CKD facility in Bangalore. We invested, and it's never an easy story, right, for India, because every time now we are trying to do more, and we are again talking to headquarters to do more. But I think we were able to finally do that. Till 2019, even for the spare parts, like we were importing parts, and I think our dealers were selling imported parts, and we didn't even any facility here in India. So we then set up. So I think there were a lot of these things which we were able to create, and I think after COVID, we have seen the life has really changed. The way we approach work, I think the way we work with our teams has completely changed, and I think the way customers look at us has also changed. So I think one of the big changes as a company, as you rightly said in the beginning, we are a company who is very deeply into safety, right? We always want to really own safety. We don't wait for our let's say sorry for this. We don't wait for regulations to bring any feature in our car when it comes to safety. We offer whatever is best available globally to bring those sort of things in India. And I think at Volvo we are very very focused on safety as well as sustainability. Sustainability we see as a larger uh, extension of safety, because sustainability is safety of the mother earth, right? And we see it from that, and that's what I think we were able to in that direction move a lot in India. We have started bringing electric cars in India, which can really make a difference, and we try and take lead when it comes to that. We may not be doing in terms of volumes, but when it comes to innovation, when in terms of bringing those sort of technologies in India, we always want to take a lead and make those changes.
Thank you. Uh, Nipun, you are very famous amongst the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha. So, from the time you joined Vivo to the transition to iPhone phones, how that was?
Yeah, the famous, not so sure though.
Oh, you are.
So see, as far as transitioning to IQ was concerned, I think it had to start from within. Vivo brand, when we set up Vivo brand around 10 years back, the consumer segment was very different. The way of selling was very different, and hence, the product definition, the way we did marketing was very different and catering to that kind of consumer. When 5 years back in 2020, we decided to start brand Aiku. We wanted to appeal to consumers which we had not touched through Vivo. because two brands from the same house, finally they have to complement each other. So when we started IQ, the goal was very clear, that we will appeal to the Gen Z, and hence right from product definition to the channel, which is online first, being at Amazon at the beginning, to talking about features in a certain way. When the whole industry was talking about, say, camera or those kinds of features, IQ always said, okay, we will be performance first, which was a very unique positioning and is still a unique positioning as far as a brand is concerned. So I think those are the things which have helped IQ in the last 5 years. And I think it is certainly paying off, because from being nothing 5 years back to now being the top two brand on Amazon, I think it certainly means that consumers are liking what they are getting from IQ.
So, what are your top picks when you think of launching new products?
I think the most important thing is who's your consumer, and what does your consumer want. Sometimes as marketeers and business people, when we mature and when the brand becomes popular, we sometimes forget the basics. I still believe basics teach you a lot, and if you can stick to your basics and take the right steps, I think you will be in the right direction. So for IQ also, knowing where the brand wants to go, knowing who the consumer is, finally, what is the sweet spot between what the brand is offering, what the consumers want, and where we are better than our competition. I think if you make a Venn diagram of these three circles, and then the intersection of these circles is what I think IQ is doing very well. And I hope it continues.
Jyoti, I have a similar question for you. So, as an international brand, how do you ensure you don't miss out on opportunities, especially in a developing market like ours?
No, I think India is, as you rightly said, is a developing country. I think, and the other thing we always talk about is the demographic dividend, being very young, and we are still evolving, right? Our industry, if you see the whole car industry, the luxury segment is around 1% of the overall. So we are anyway a very small niche within the larger car industry. In terms of overall car industry, we are now, I think, ahead of Japan, and we are among the top 3-4 nations in terms of number of cars that we sell in India. But luxury segment is not that way. So I think the most important thing for us coming from that perspective is India is where the aspirations are growing, demography is changing. How do we understand the needs of those customers, and I think be in their mind? So one of the key things that we do is what we have seen, Indian customers are very conscious of technology, right? So we offer all the technologies that are globally available. For example, I can tell you when we brought XC90, the radar features were not actually allowed in India because it was controlled by authorities and regulated. We were the first to actually reach out to the government and got approval that radar technology should be allowed in the car, so that we can offer the safest technology here in India and things like that. So, and I think that messaging back to the customers that we are offering the technology that is available back in any developed country is available here in India attracts a lot of customers. They believe that they deserve the best, and we try and always offer the best to our customers. The second thing, I think we believe very strongly in electrification, and we believe it is good for India. It is not that because globally we want to become and move toward becoming an electric car company. That is not, I think, what is relevant here in India. What is relevant for India is it suitable for India? And I say this that from an Indian perspective, number one, we talk about Atmanirbharta, right? We need to ensure that we are an oil importing country. Can we cut down our oil imports? And I think over a period of time, move towards something which can help us become more self-dependent. And that is the reason that government is promoting electrification in India, because we have an opportunity now to set up the electrification. We missed the bus 30 years back when automotives were picking up, and we were actually not doing in that sense. But I think EVs, we can become global leaders, at least for producing in India. And that's why EV makes a lot of difference. So that's one of the key reasons. Second is this will create a lot of new skills and obviously new jobs in India. EV, because if we can move our industry from the IC engine or that technology into EVs, I think we can again take a position of a leader here. And third, I think is obviously from a pollution perspective. See, we live in Delhi or wherever we live. I think Bombay, 5 7 years was nobody heard about pollution, but now we have started seeing what is happening in our cities all across. And EVs can bring a difference, even if I think there is a lot of debate and discussion. Okay, EVs will only push pollution from one part of the world to the other part of the world, but that's not true. But even if the debate is on, I think we have problems in our cities, right? We need to take care of. I think there is a lot of discussion already started. We are around Diwali, and every year around Diwali, pollution goes up. EVs will give a solution for our country. So I think EVs make a lot of sense, and that is what really we want to be. Even if we don't deliver numbers in terms of offering the best technology on electric, is what our mission is, and we will always push for that.
Thank you. Akash, as an entrepreneur, you have been betting big on startups, MSMEs, and also the regulatory aspect that we were discussing off stage back then. So I want to know your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been trying to do this for 2.5 years, and by trying, I mean we are thriving with it. We have actually had 150 projects with scales of early stage all the way to Series C startups, and we have seen phenomenal results. Right? We put them into different categories of volume, cost, ESG. We are seeing, there's one startup that has come up with a very very unique sensor and AI ML language on top of it to kind of make it asset optimized, right? By that I mean we can predict any maintenance that it requires. The life of the pot lines in our aluminum has increased 15-20%, and these are hardly any, these are not expensive solutions. So we are seeing that we have 1.7 lakh startups in India, 151 of them unicorns. But if you see deep tech and the number of startups we have there, it's about 3,600, right? That is 2% of our overall startups. Why? Because A, it is capital intensive. B, product commercialization is a lot of R&D expense and time. And C, it is mostly that, right? There are no places for it to be tested, which is why I think this has been a breakthrough for us. We have the asset base to take all of these companies, see how we follow them into a PPP model. We pilot them in a protected environment, risk averse environment. We ensure that their solution actually will work in a larger scale, can be replicable. Then we go onto a project phase where we completely make them hyperscaled, right? What they have done, 0 to 1 and 1 to 100 are two different things, entirely different. And that is what we try to scale them in 2 years, 1 to 2 years maximum, to get them to a project phase. And the third P is partner with them, right? Co-creating IP, making sure we put investments into them, making them less capital intensive for the average entrepreneur to say, I am going to take this problem and solve it because I have the backing of a customer, I have the backing of a venture capitalist, I have a backing of someone who understands the business. Has been a phenomenal pull for all of these people to come and try their products, solutions on us, right? We have companies that have, you know, changed the entire face of safety. For example, we have LiDAR technologies in our mines that have reduced any near misses by 50%. We have for example, one company called Detect Technologies, we used to have, manual interventions, people looking at violations of safety to a maximum of 250, 350 a month. They put AI cameras, and now they are seeing violations and near misses of 20 to 30,000 amongst equipment, man, power, machinery, everything. And that itself tells you the kind of grand scale that these people can climb up to and have an impact not only on the nation as a whole, creating GDP impact in manufacturing, deep tech sciences, but also on the kind of skill sets that you're developing for the nation and the kind of future ready products that you're going to get, right? So we at Spark Ventures want to make this a replicable model where we try it on our base first, then we take it out there, right? You're going from the traditional, hey, let's invest in 10 startups, and out of that 8 fail, to actually succeeding with 8 out of those 10 startups, right? And that is the effort that we want to take. We want to put in our best foot forward, and get these people a platform where they can thrive.
Thank you. So, what are the top three qualities you find in any entrepreneur they need to actually scale successful businesses?
Uh, so I think the first and foremost thing about a leader is resilience, right? we don't look at what they are trying to solve. We don't look at what a leader's idea is, as much as we look at how ready is that leader to strive, to struggle, and to get there. Right? There is this really good chapter in Hidden Potential by Adam Grant. This book where it says that the amount of effort it takes a person to climb a mountain is the same amount of effort it takes a person to climb out of the ditch with the same depth. So you may find on the surface there are people who might have gone through a lot more struggle before they went there. And that's the resilience, right? To get to the top, someone must have journeyed 100 meters or 200 meters. We would never know. I think that's the first leadership quality I find is good. The second one I find is learning, right? I can say today I know what it is to be a leader, but that's completely untrue. And that means I've stopped learning. And that does not make me a leader. Learning from people who you hire, people who you empower, people who lead you is the biggest quality that drives you, makes you wake up in the morning, think of new ideas, and that I think a leader should really imbibe as a quality. And number three, and I'm sure a lot of the leaders here are doing it much better than me, but it's about empowering your team, collaborating with them to make sure that the value add that each person has is specific. At the same time, they realize that there is no constraints in that part of the value add that they are really good at doing. So I think these are the three qualities I would
You
say.
both agree to this? You want to add something?
I think by and large, I think he has covered everything. But I usually use a framework called calm, stay calm, right? So I think as leaders, I think one of the important thing is communication is very important, right? Communication with all stakeholders, whether it is your peers, whether it is your uh, venture capital, or in my case, headquarters, or your whole organization. So communication makes a big difference. Second is about alignment. I think you need to align. If you are moving in a direction, the whole organization or all the people, you should be able to align. Like in India, we talk about yoga. Yoga is about alignment of the body and soul. I think that same way you need to align the whole organization around it. So I think that is something which is makes a big difference. And then learning, yes, I think learning is always important. You need to create an environment of learning. As you should yourself be learning and ensure that everybody learn from mistakes, learn from experimentation, learn from pilots, all the time learning. See, someone who thinks that learning is over is finished. So I think learning is an ongoing journey. And then M in a calm is about, I think we always forget about the basics. It's about men, method, and machine. So I think you always respect people. Men represent people with diversity. I think it is a whole organization. Everybody is unique. We need to respect that uniqueness. And method is about systems. You need to have the right system in place. And machine today means technology. So I think these stay calm, and I think things will be taken care of. Is my mantra.
Stay calm.
Stay calm.
Yeah, for leadership, I think there are multiple models which some of us have talked about. I believe there is one thing which is often ignored, and that is self-managing, or self-management, or leadership of self. I think the first step that any leader needs to undergo is self-discovery, self-realization, because till you can't manage your own self, I don't think you can manage any business or any team, right? And many a times, I tell this to my team also, and I often quote this from Gulzar Saab, right? When he says, "दूसरों की जय से पहले खुद को जय करो." Right? So before you actually start leading others, I think it's important to first know yourself, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and first win over your own self. अगर खुद की जय हो जाएगी, I think you will be able to do much better with the others as well.
So we'll move to the last leg of the conversation. So on a scale of 1 to 100, we discussed this off stage. How much would you rate yourself as a leader?
Tricky question, actually, and that too in a public forum.
No, but you have to
So,
give a number.
sorry.
You have to give a number.
Yeah, sure.
Have to be the first person.
And yes, especially being the first person to answer this question, I would say I think it's an ongoing journey for me as well. I would say, and I'll go with a safe answer. Maybe I'll say somewhere I'm in the 80 to 90. Not doing too bad, but I certainly believe there is scope to do much better.
Jyoti.
So I think first and foremost, I think in corporate world we have seen rating is the, I think this bell curve and all the ratings are never represent anything. So I don't want to put a number behind it for first and foremost. And the second thing, as I said, I think I totally agree. It's a journey. We are all on a journey, and I think it has to always be the quest to improve yourself. If you start rating yourself at certain level, then I think it becomes very difficult. It's always important at any given point of time, and I think that is where what he was talking about in terms of where you stand today as a point A and where you want to be point B. If you are clear on that path, I think ratings don't matter. I think at this point A and point B will always keep changing. And you need to always focus on where you are and where you want to be. And if you are on that journey, it is never a linear path. It's always zigzag. You will go up and down. There will be challenges. You need to work on that and keep moving. That's what I see.
Akash.
No, I mean, they have covered most of it. I always feel.
I need a number.
So for me, I think the biggest competition you have is yourself, and there is no bigger teacher than yourself. So 5 years ago and 5 years later are two different people that I am. So I believe that if I find myself to be between 0 and 100, at 100, I'll see the pathway to 1,000. If I'm at 1,000, I'll see a pathway to 10,000. And as long as I can see the pathway to get better and better, I feel that I'm on the right journey, like they said, to becoming the best leader I can possibly be. So whether 0 to 100 has a benchmark out there, I wouldn't know, because 0 to 100 exists within myself. And the ability to push that 100 to 1,000, 10,000 is only up to me and no one else.
Thank you so much. As we are pressed on time, we'll take questions off stage. Over to you, Bhavna.